Hi guys, Olive here today to talk about what my reading and my channel goals are going to be in 2021, and also have a more general chat about where this channel is going. 2020 has been an interesting year, to put it nicely. I'm not in the habit of talking about details about my personal life in general or on this channel, despite the fact that I have a YouTube channel. I'm actually an extremely private person. Even talking about myself right now feels very strange to me. I had a hard year, like most people did, but I don't have any right to complain, so I'm not going to spend any time doing that. There were a lot of changes that happened in my life over the course of 2020, some good ones and some bad ones, but the best one was probably the fact that I finally became a real-life paid freelance book reviewer. It had been something that I had been working toward for such a long time. I had been writing a lot of full-length book reviews for free in order to build up a portfolio that I could present to editors, I could pitch to them and show them that I was actually capable of doing the job. And it was my dream that my first piece would appear in my major local newspaper, the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, and that happened in February. And I can't even express how much of a dream come true it was to see my work in my local paper in this city that means so much to me. Since then, I've been trying to keep the momentum going. I've been trying to pitch to other venues, pick up other venues for my written reviews and for video reviews. That's been a new development, but it's not been easy. I can't lie about it. There's a ton of rejection involved. That's just kind of the nature of freelancing. And then there are a lot of other difficulties involved in that a lot of venues are no longer accepting freelance reviewers, or they're cutting their book sections entirely because they just don't have the budget. And then there have been situations with publishers shuffling around release dates because of the pandemic. So it's not been simple. It is going to be one of my goals for next year to just keep on pitching, and hopefully some new venues will want to take me on. I do have a couple in mind. I won't say what they are. I'm not looking to jinx it, but if even one of my pieces could appear in either one of those publications, it would be amazing. It would be another dream come true. I love reviewing so much. I know this is not the easiest climate to be trying to get into it, but I'm not willing to let this go. I want this to be a solid side hustle for me. And if what I need to do to make that happen is continue this dogged perseverance and not be bogged down by rejection, not take no for an answer, I'm going to keep on doing it. Another big change that happened this year, it happened just fairly recently, was that I hit 20,000 subscribers on this channel. First of all, thank you all so much. That is such a vote of confidence. It is so flattering. I don't take it lightly. I am so appreciative. That is an unreal number, and I know everyone says that when they talk about their subscriber counts, but I really mean it. It is so far beyond what I thought was going to be possible for me and my channel. When I got started on BookTube, I did not have any grand aspirations for what this channel could do. 20,000 subscribers was not even a thought in my head. I just wanted to talk about books and hopefully make some friends, and I've gotten to do that. I also knew that I was going in with some built-in limitations. I was a little bit older at the time I started my channel. I mean, 25 is not old, but it felt like it was old for BookTube at the time. And I was primarily a nonfiction reader. And not only those two things, but I'm a very opinionated person. And I knew that that wasn't always going to go down in the best way. I was not wrong about that. But I just never thought that this kind of a channel and me as a person would be capable of attracting this kind of an audience. In a lot of recommendations videos that established booktubers will do for people who are new to the booktube community or who are considering starting their own channels, they will talk about how you should consider what your niche is going to be. What's different about you? What can you bring to the community that's a little bit different that will set you apart? And even though I've been at this for 6 full years now, I've found myself thinking about that all over again. This year, I've really tried to take a step back from the channel and look at it as objectively as I possibly can, and really try to see if I like what I'm doing here, if there's anything I do that I want to do more of, if there's anything that I do currently that I would like to do less of. I really wanted to figure out what's valuable to me, and I wanted to think about what I'm trying to achieve here. And what became very clear to me is that there is no part of me that has the objective of becoming a big booktuber like one of the YA channels. I personally find that thought terrifying. There is no part of me that has ever wanted to be famous. Again, I'm very, very private. But also, I'm just extremely thankful for what I have right now. I try to keep it firmly planted in my mind that you all are not numbers on a screen, and that's not how I feel about you. You are people who take your time to watch my videos and interact with me. I am so thankful for that. And I would just never feel right about having a numerical goal that I'm trying to hit when it comes to subscribers or views. I'm not attempting to throw shade at or pass judgment on any booktubers who want to hit a certain number of subscribers. If that's their main goal, then that is positively none of my business. Everybody on BookTube has to do what feels right to them. That doesn't feel right to me, so I'm just not going to do it. But if hitting a certain number of subscribers isn't my main goal, I've really had to sit down and think about, okay, then what is my main goal with this channel? And the feeling I kept getting was that I just want to do good work. But then I had to think about, okay, well, what qualifies as good work to me? Because that means something different to everyone as well. And unsurprisingly, the conclusion that I came to is that I feel best about the work that I put up when I have thoroughly reviewed books. So at long last, we reached the first real channel goal of mine for 2021, and that's that I want to do 50 book reviews on this channel next year. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to do 50 book reviews of 50 books. I'm leaving the format open in case I want to do dual book reviews or a trio of books that I'm reviewing like I just did for Nonfiction November. I also want to leave the format open in case I come up with anything creative as 2021 goes along. I certainly hope that I do. I want to make sure that the videos I'm putting up are still exciting to watch. I want to do this for a number of reasons, but obviously the primary one is that it's what I feel best about doing. I also want to continue getting better at reviewing. I think that reviewing is a real strength of mine. It is definitely a muscle that I've been strengthening for the past 6 years, but there is always room for improvement. And the best way to improve is to practice. So that's what I want to do. I've also begun to notice a trend with book content in general, not just on BookTube, just in general across venues and across platforms, that book content is moving in the direction of lists and lists only. And I'm not trying to throw shade here either because I love a good list. I like making ones of my own on occasion. But it's not all I want to produce, and it's definitely not all I want to consume. I think book reviews are really valuable, and I basically want the chance to prove that through making a lot of them. I also feel really motivated to do this because as a result of the global situation right now, things have never been harder for new authors, for debut authors, for authors of smaller releases. Things have never been harder for them. They're not going to get the same marketing attention as the big releases that publishers know will sell. Foot traffic isn't what it was going into bookstores. Hand selling isn't able to happen as much as it was previously. And I know these books are going to continue to struggle, especially if publishing insists on making some of the decisions that they are right now that I really don't agree with, but that's not the point of this video. In my capacity as a freelance book reviewer, I am reading so many more new releases than I ever have before, and a lot of those are the smaller titles that I'm talking about. And then I'm also a booktuber who has a certain number of subscribers, and so publishers will take my requests for advanced copies more seriously. And therefore, I am uniquely positioned to champion these smaller releases that I feel deserve attention, and that is exactly what I want to do. Not to say I won't read and review some bigger releases, I will if I'm interested in the book, but the smaller titles, the more under the radar titles, those are going to be my focus. Just to be really clear though, I'm not going to just be reviewing new releases. I will also be reading and reviewing books in the backlist. And that leads very nicely into my next goal, that I would like to read and review, potentially, a lot of the books on these shelves. Some of these have been sitting there for just far too long, and I would like to make some room for new books that I have coming in. And that also goes for my virtual shelves over on NetGalley. I have a little bit of a backlog over there, I'm ashamed to admit, and I would very much like to clear that out. I also should mention that I'm sort of not really participating in the Goodreads Reading Challenge next year, like where you set the number of books you're looking to read in the calendar year. I had set it for 100 for 2020, but I upped it to 150 in the middle of the year because I was reading way more and way faster than I ever had, largely when quarantine started. But I already read more now than I ever have before, more than I ever thought was possible for me to read. And at this point in my journey as a reader, I'm not looking to up what I read more and more every year. I think I'm fine where I am. So I've decided that I'm just going to set my reading goal at 100 books for 2021. And even if it looks like I'm going to double that by the time the year is through, I'm not going to up it mid-year like I did this year. And that's more or less all I've got when it comes to goals for next year. At the core of everything, I just want to feel that these videos that I pour my heart into making have value not just in the moment, but continue to have value over time. And I want to make the process of making these videos, which can be so demanding, it needs to become something more sustainable in my life. Given the fact that I now talk about books other places other than BookTube, we'll just say that. I have other freelance venues that I produce content for. There will be situations where a last minute opportunity to do something will come up and I don't want to say no, it's a great opportunity. But because I've already committed to doing certain things on BookTube, I'm just adding that to my schedule while I'm not subtracting out anything from my schedule. And it just becomes so overwhelming. The bottom line is that I need a little bit more freedom and I need a little bit more flexibility. And so I am going to be playing with the way I do things around here. I don't know entirely what that means or whether or not any change I make will be permanent. But if you notice some things are different here in the new year, that is why. What I do know for certain is that I still have plans to post every single week, preferably twice a week, barring any emergencies. And I know that half of my content in 2021 will be made up of book reviews in fun and creative formats that I hope you really enjoy watching. So that's all for today's video. If you have any comments or questions about anything you've seen in this video or about anything in general, please feel free to put it in the comment section below. But if you would like to reach out to me somewhere other than YouTube, I am on a variety of different places on social media, and the links to all of my profiles will be in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you again for 20,000 subscribers. Thank you for your vote of confidence in me. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.